Real talk only, this show ain't for the fake and the phony. Nah, we speaking it boldly, I'll give it the way that God told me. Yeah, I follow his lead, ain't what they want but I give what they need. Not wanna compromise, never concede, cause I need the truth like the air that I breathe. My recommendation, if you wanna change generations, hit play, let's talk about keeping it real. We get it in these conversations, yeah.
Welcome back to Candid Conversations. I hope you guys have had a fantastic start to this 2024. It's wild to even say that. I mean, it don't necessarily even feel like 2023 anymore, but it's still it's wild how times change. But and we're like almost through January, but we're not. I don't know if y'all feeling this way, but I feel like January just got a lot of weeks. It's not been that January has felt long, but it got a lot of weeks this month. I don't know, just it felt like January started on a like a Friday, and so that felt like kind of a week or something, and then from there it's just felt like we in the 6th week now, like we about to walk into the 6th week. But anywho, all that to be said, I don't know about y'all, but I've been having this thought, right, that there's not enough time in the day. Now, I don't know how y'all feeling about that, but it just feels like there's not enough time to get stuff done. Like there just isn't. Now there's enough time to get something done, but a lot of it, nah, or everything we were hoping for. And I know this has been a thing for a long time, so it's not like a new concept. I feel like it's in sitcoms, or you hear other people say like, yeah, this is what I have planned to do. Like, this is what I'm going to get done today. And we get these 3 done. And there are so many techniques and tips and tricks and ways to be more productive or more effective with our time, right? And I think all those are important. I think it's important that we're not being lazy, or we're not procrastinating, or just kind of using time willy-nilly. And time is speeding up. So where everyone's been saying and feeling like, man, it just feels like there's not enough time in the day. And before it was just, man, I'm trying to do too much. Now it really feels like, man, there's not enough time in the day. But the word literally says that in the last days, time will speed up. And so it's a real thing. And understanding that, man, time, it feels like there's not enough. Like, even what I used to do 4 years ago, it's like, I don't have enough time for that. How do we do this? And so kind of want to talk today about this idea of maybe 2 ideas, this or that. We'll start with the this or that, or this and that. I think for a while, this or that, and then this, then that. I feel like for a while we were, or at least I was, in this place of time culture. We were in this place of priorities. You always hear, make sure your priorities are in straight, make sure you got those things in order. Like, you need to go top to bottom. What's most important? You need to go. That's how you organize your day. That's how you organize your week. That's how you organize your life. What's most important right now? And that still holds true, still holds value. And I think that frame of thinking could be formulated as this, then that. Meaning, okay, so I got to take care of these items. I have to pick the kids up at this time. That's a non-negotiable. And I want to get a workout in this afternoon. So the this, then that would be, I go get my kids, then I go work out. So that sort of idea, prioritizing certain times you need to get things done. It was a this, then that. And I feel like now we're in a place where it's no longer this, then that. I think we're in a place of this or that. Now, someone might argue, someone might say, man, you're just not grinding hard enough. There's plenty of time, or man, you just got to work harder. You got to plan better. Kudos to y'all people. I guess if you want to work like a Hebrew with no straw, that is your prerogative. But I think there's just so many people exhausted, like completely wore out. And I think it's partly because we're trying to do so much. And It's not even bad things to do. It's not bad to have multiple jobs or to work on this and then have these different hobbies and then trying to spend time with family and friends and then wanting and just taking care of adulting. Adulting in itself takes up a chunk of time. Cooking for yourself, cleaning, laundry, getting gas, like things that add up, all these little things that start to add up over the course of a couple of days, over a week, over a month. And it for me, I was getting to this point of like frustration. So like I'll share with y'all, like one real life example was I've been wanting to read more. Like I used to be an avid reader. Then I got to college and I had to be an avid reader. And so I took some years off. I was like, I hate this. But I really been wanting to read more. And I'm like, man, I enjoy reading when I get a chance to sit down and read. And so for a long time, I would make resolutions or I'm like, okay, this month I'm going to read this much or I'm going to get back on track. I have these little challenges and they've all fallen through, every single one in the past like 4 years. Some I have actually read more. So it's not that I'm not reading at all, but especially this past like 6 months, I don't have the time. And I was coming to this understanding that it's a this or that season. It's not a this, then that, because I would try to take care of the things that need to be taken care of and then read. And there just wasn't time, or I just didn't have the energy, or I truly, more than anything, didn't have the mental capacity after all the things I had to do throughout the day to sit down, open a book. And I don't really do fiction that much. I'll do it sometimes, but it's just nowadays I'm not in that headspace. And so it's usually something to think about, ponder, learn from. And I didn't have the mental capacity. I would read 2 pages and forget what I read because it took me 20 minutes to read 2 pages because I'm okay. Yeah. Okay. So on the third day, what you want to do is, oh, let me go. Okay. So on the third day, what you want to do is like, to no exaggeration, that's how it was. And I was getting frustrated. And I don't know about you guys, but for myself, I can start to be like, I will get pissed off at myself. Like, man, you said you wanted to do this. Why are you not like making it a priority? And here you are falling asleep and man, how like you're not reading at all. And there's no intentionality. It's taking you so long to finish this book. You like the book. Why don't you just get it done? And I had to come to this understanding that no, I really don't have the time. Like in this season for where I am right now. And so with this or that, I think it's prioritizing seasons as well, not just a day or a month, but really prioritizing a season and just being honest with ourselves. Like, do I have time for this? Is this something that is important? Is this something that can wait? And sometimes it's just a matter of where I'm at. It just doesn't fit. It just doesn't make sense. No, whether you want to or not, it doesn't, and it doesn't have to be the end of the world. And of course, you might be thinking, well, reading, of course, not the end of the world. You're doing all these stuff. You can do all these other things. But I'm like, even things we think are important or priority, priority. Goodness gracious, it may be, but it also may not be. And so I just had to come to this understanding that in this season I'm in, I'm just not going to read. Like if I get just an hour of random free time, I'm like, man, I really want to read. Cool. I'll knock out a chapter or something. And then there's nothing wrong with that. But I've just had to kind of put that down like it, and it's okay. It's not, oh man, I'm not being productive. Like what my season actually looks like and affords me to do is listen to an exuberant number of podcasts and sermons and educational random just people talking, people who work in elite colleges who are like neuroscientists and stuff, and they just want to share the information. And I get to learn through that way. I'll dabble in an audio book if the person who wrote it is reading it, because I don't do monotone. Like I'll fall asleep instantly. But like I'm doing all these things, so I'm learning. I'm gleaning a good 5 hours a day of listening to things, listening to people, learning new ideas. That's reading. It's just a different way. And so though it may be not ideally what I want, it's like, no, I'm doing exactly what I'm using my time well and in a way that's effective. And so that's, I don't know, that's just something that's been on my mind, this or that, this idea that we can do this, then that. No, I don't think we actually can. We can't do all the this, then that. Now there'll be a few things, but even there, it's going to be a lot more this or that. And I think when we really sit down and be honest about the this or that, and when we're diligent and consistent in that, in choosing and being able to really, like, I think we suck at saying no. Now we're really passionate. I would say this generation, this time we're in, people are really passionate about things, but on the large scale, we really aren't good at saying no still. Like, it's either or we're so good at saying no, but for the wrong, like we just say no to say it. But generally we just want to do all the things. We have FOMO, fear of missing out, and I don't have that at all. I could care less. Um and I think there's a balance in that, but how do we pick? How do you pick? What is criteria for picking this or that? Now, I could come up with a laundry list where I could have just see what you need is you need the one, the two, the three. Okay, I'm gonna have 3 points for you that really articulate how you pick this or that. I don't. We're all different. I think it'd be ignorant to try to come up with a formula that works. Now, are there some things that generally probably apply to people? Sure. But I think you really have to sit down with yourself and say, what season am I in? What am I trying to accomplish in this season? What is being asked of me to be accomplished? Like what is reasonable? I think we leave that one out. We think about, okay, what can I do? How can I do it? How can I get there? Also, what's reasonable? What is actually plausible, reasonable, and something that's not going to destroy me? And I think when we really sit down and do that, like I don't know, I'm constantly hearing stories and learning from these people who are successful in their field of work, from entertainment to law enforcement to doctors and lawyers, anything. And it's this consistency of, I did this one thing well for like 10 years. I just kept working on it. And then because I was so good at that, it didn't just open up doors, but this or that turned into this and that. Like they skipped this, then that. They went straight from this or that to this and that because they got so good at this thing they felt called to, or what their passion or God told them to do, that they did it so well, they did it so consistently in this one thing, that because they were able to say no to the that and they picked this, that over a course of time, whatever that may look like, it's usually years though. It's usually not like a 2 month process, a 2 week process. It can be just, I don't want to set someone up for false expectation, but just, it's a process of just, yeah, I'm going to do this thing well, that it, at some point, it turns into this and that. Like I do this so well that now that kind of takes care of itself. And now I can do both things at the same time. I can do 4 things at the same time because I actually don't, it's not me having to do every single one of them. I have a team. I have a group. I have a plan. There's time in the day that I no longer have to spend 10 hours on this. I only need to spend 30 minutes on it. Maybe because you did perfect it. That it used to take me, like even this podcast used to take me, and I'm only a few episodes in, but each time I do it, I'm getting better at understanding just where to put the camera. And okay, the mic needs to be set up like this. Okay, the volume needs to be set up here. Oh, small detail, move the mic out of your face, or all the things that the first few times it took an hour and a half, 2 hours just to set up the little equipment I had. Cause I hold up, nope, that's not the right angle. Oh, that's that they can't see my head. And so it's this idea of this or that. And like, I don't know, I'm really trying to settle into being okay with that. Like, it's okay. It's okay to do this or that. It's okay to also say, hey, I'm going to set aside an hour every day. And I'm not great at this yet, so I'll say I'll set aside an hour like twice a week, but really just setting aside time for me to do nothing or something, depending on how I felt. Yeah, where I'm just like, hey, I'm just gonna set that, I'm gonna cut that block out to where when we get there, it's like, man, I actually still have energy to do stuff. Perfect. I can put this hour towards working on a project, or maybe I want to read, or maybe I want to go to the gym again, or it's just like, man, I'm so tired. I'm going to take a nap. I'm going to watch a show, and being okay with that, like prioritizing this or that. And then also just not trying to burn myself out. Like what is Cooley's pace? I think we like to, and it's hard. Like social media is a gift. It's a tool. It's helpful, um, and it's so easy to be misused and misviewed. We always talk about how like you can mishandle it. You can, but it's easy to. I think it's much easier to misview it. How you're looking at it, how you're perceiving it, and it's so easy to compare. Well, look at them; they're doing 19 things, and how does that mom? How does she have 5 kids, and she's making this gourmet dinners and box lunches, and then she also works a job from home, and then she hangs out with her friends, and you don't know that person's story. They actually might be dying, or maybe they've been 10 years deep into two of those things already. That's clockwork. It's muscle memory, so it's no effort for them. But that took time, and so just realizing like, okay, try not to like what is Cooley's pace? What is your pace? What is your actual pace for grace? What has God graced you for in this season? And more often than not, it's a walking season. Like we're running a marathon and not a 26 mile. We walk in a 2600,000 mile marathon, and you got to walk that. You're not running that. You're not jogging that. Like there'll be moments, time, seasons where you're full sprint or you're in a good little jog, but a lot of it's going to be walking, and walking can feel mundane, but what is mundane often turns into the special moments. It's often in the mundane that the miraculous is taking place. Like we think when the miraculous happens, it happened then, but really it was the mundane that led to the miraculous. It was the man, I have this goal, I have this dream, or God's called me here. Let me do the mundane things. Let me do the day to day things, and then little do we know we're building up something on ourselves. You go to the gym every day. You don't go work out for 4 hours every day. It's now there's you can go anywhere, Google anything for health benefits and what works for you. But really, realistically, you could go for 30 minutes a day and be fine. Do a little workout, cardio, whatever you want to do, however you want to set that up. And I'm like, man, I want to lose this amount of weight and I want to be able to lift this or do this or run this. And then one day you've been doing all these little steps, and then the miraculous, what was it? Like I could never imagine myself, takes place, and it's because you were working on something consistently. And not to say that a miracle is something that, well, yeah, you just got to work at it. Nope, nope, nope. There are real miracles. God performs those, and often, even in those, He'll ask us to do something that seems ludicrous or mundane. Looking at Elijah in Kings, I think it's Second Kings. No, but in First Kings, and man, a great leader, great warrior, has leprosy, and his servants like, hey, I know a great man of God who he can heal that. He got you. Oh yeah, okay, great. Let's go to him. Brings all this gold, and it's going to gift him all these things because he's like, yeah, whatever he says, I got it. I'm gonna do it. And Elijah don't even come out to meet the man. He tell his servant, hey, go tell him, yeah, just go dip in that river over there 7 times. And I don't want to mix up the rivers. I'm supposed to have my word right here, but he gets mad because first off, it's dirty, and then so he just storms off. He didn't even come see me. He tell me to dip in this dirty river. No, and his servant, like, to be humbled by your servant to say, hey, boss, if he told you to go on some grand scheme, adventure, do something magnificent, would you have done it? Absolutely. I'm a grand man. So why not the little? Why not the mundane? Is that, are you too good for that? And I think for some people they feel that way, but I think for more of us, it's just we feel like the mundane's not going to get anywhere. Like it's not going to go anywhere. We have to do more. We want more over mundane, and it's in the mundane that more is possible. And so just this understanding of this or that, right? And so that's one half of this conversation, I guess. And I want your thoughts. Like, please leave a comment or hit me up. Like I truly am curious, like what did this or that look like to you? Or did that sound wild to you? Like me saying it, is it something where you're like, man, that's a Yeah, that's a good idea. I need to practice that. Are you like, absolutely not, sir? It's this and that. Right now, I'm doing all of it. I go to school and I got a full-time job. I'm a mom. I'm a coach. I do all of it at the same time. I'm killing it. You just need to get back. You just need to really organize. Maybe I'm open to suggestions too if anyone has any, but I'm truly curious. How have you been feeling? I just feel like a lot of the people I've talked to are exhausted. They're tired. They're frustrated. They don't even want to do what they're doing anymore. They're like, man, I want to do something else, like something I love. Um, and that's a whole nother topic. But yeah, what are your thoughts on that? And then tied to that idea, this or that, I just have been thinking about like, what does it look like to rest well? Like to really rest well. And I'm sure I've talked about this in other podcasts a little bit, touching on it because it's a big topic. But um, it kind of goes back into that idea of wanting to read. I was like, man, I really want to spend my free time, learning and gleaning and growing, even in my downtime. And I actually do. Like, I wasn't just sound impertinent or like I'm or pompous, but really because I really want to learn and glean, and I enjoy reading. It can be relaxing sometimes. Uh, and I just had to realize I don't have the energy for it. And then I was feeling bad, like I need to watch less TV. I already don't really watch tons of TV, but your boy is an anime fanatic. Maybe not fanatic, but I thoroughly enjoy anime. Like 9 out of 10 times it's an anime that you're gonna catch me watching over a movie or a show of any other sort. Because I don't know, I've always been a kid at heart, and I just think first off, there's so much variety in anime that even let me just put that in there. If any of y'all like anime stupid, I hate it. I'm not a kid. That's for children. Yeah, it's a cartoon. It's not a cartoon. First off, second, hit me up. I bet I can find one for you. Now, if you just hate animated stuff, like you don't like Pixar, you don't like Disney, you don't like no kind of cartoon, you didn't watch no cartoons when you was a kid, or you like I've never liked it. I understand it's not your cup of tea, but other than that, hit your boy up. I'll find you at least one that you'll enjoy. I'm not gonna say you're gonna be an anime buff, but I can find you one. Um, but all that to say, I was feeling bad, like, man, and then I kind of just want to watch an episode and go to bed, but that's not being productive, or that's feeling lazy, or I'm watching too much TV. And I had to understand, like, no, like God had to show me, like, sir, in the season you're in, that's rest. Like you actually enjoy doing it, like being able to come home, been a long day. Man, I don't have, and also I'm a reader who, like, I really hate reading just a few pages. Like minimum, if I can, I want to knock out a chapter. Like I'm trying to knock out at least a chapter. I want to get a chunk in. I want to dive in. And that takes some time. Sometimes it just does, depending on how dense the book is, what the information is about. And I'm like, dang, I coach, I get home sometimes after 10 p.m. and it's like, I don't have time to take a shower, eat, and it's 11 by then. And I don't read while I eat. I just really hate spilling stuff in books, so I tend not to do that. And it's like I would have to spend time afterwards as well. And by then it's midnight. And it's like when I could watch an episode while I eat. And once again, anime, I might have to make an episode about anime just to educate some folks. But it's like 18 to 21 minutes of actual watching time. Some of y'all take 30 minutes to eat. I don't, but so it's for me, it's just like, man, I'm gonna watch an episode, maybe two. Cool. I just watched 35 minutes of shows while I was eating, while I was brushing my teeth, while I was changing. So while I'm still doing what I have to do, I was able to kind of just let my mind go and relax a little bit, laugh, ha ha, smile, whatever it looks like just enjoy myself a little bit and then go to bed. And that's just the season I'm in. And so, like, what does it look like to rest well? And what does it look like to rest for the season? Like, not just what do you want to do, but what is actually plausible and possible, and not beating yourself over the head for it. Because I I hear about all these people grinding so hard and they work 5 jobs and it's not just, oh, I'm broken, I'm doing these things, but like they're super successful and they're well known and man, they're such hard workers and they do this and do that. And for a while, it was this comparison of I can do that. Like I should be doing that too. Like I feel lazy, even though I'm doing stuff, even though I'm having extremely long days. It was like, man, I should be doing that. And I was like, who said? Who who said you're supposed to be doing all those things? Who said you need to be doing all those things? Even what you're doing right now might be too much. And so just advising and asking the question, just to pose it to you. Are you doing too much? Maybe you're not, maybe it's not that you're not doing enough. Maybe you're doing too much. And when I do too much, I don't do too many things very well. I do it good enough to not just get by where it's like, no, we can accept that, but it's not excellence. And I really hate not doing things with excellence. And there's this revelation of I hate not like God, I really hate not doing things with excellence. And he knows this about me. I can be a perfectionist a little bit. Um, and then it made me think, it posed this question of if you love doing everything with excellence, why are you so okay with not resting with excellence? Why am I so okay with rest just being in this? I hate this phrase, and I'm number one culprit. Nah, but maybe not one. I'm like number 5 culprit for using this phrase. I'll rest when I'm dead. I don't need sleep. I'll sleep when I'm dead. Still, first off, I won't get into the theology of that, but that's such a stupid phrase. And it's ignorant and arrogant to say, because the mindset behind it for me and for how I hear it is, no, I got to get this done because no one else is going to get it done. So I'm going to get it done. Like, as if I can do all that I need to do in my own power. And what's funny about it is the times that I've tried to do it all on myself, not just on my own, but really I'm like, God, I'm going to grind. I'm not going to take no days off, or I can't really take a rest day this week. God, I just can't. I still don't get everything done. It's not like, oh, because I took that one extra day, or, I just refused to get those hours of sleep that my body actually needs. Like, I got all these things done. Usually I get more done on the first look of it, but really it was just something to do. It was just another box to check, but it wasn't actually intentionally moving something in a direction. Like I can look back and see a month's period of so-called grinding. And unless there was an intentional, like, oh, I'm doing it for this season because this is a running season. Not it was a running season, but I just decided, oh, I'm going to work this kind of way this month. I'm going to get stuff done. It's never produced anything. It's never been like I look back after that month and I'm, man, those hours of sleep missed, or man, it was worth it. Yeah, I see what the results of that were. It's always like, I feel like I would be in the same place if I still got rest or, did what was good and healthy for my body. So yeah, this or that over this and that, or this then that can lead to this and that. And then this idea of if you're picking this or that, how do you pick this or rest? I guess being the second part of that conversation. How do you pick, do I need to do this or do I need to rest? And I think I have some people, some friends, some family that I'm like, I'm speaking to y'all. Now this might apply to some more people, fantastic, but I'm speaking to y'all and myself a little bit. You need rest. Period. It's not even like a negotiable. It's not like man, it'd probably be good for you. No, it's a necessity. And when you continue to ignore it, what that will turn into is you might work at a high level. So I'm not going to say like, oh, you won't be able to do it well. No, you might keep doing those things well and you'll start killing yourself. And you'll get to the point that you no longer want to do it anymore. And some people get to the point that they don't just want to not do that career anymore. They want to kill themselves. Just being like very frank and honest. And we've seen it. And it's devastating. to hear. And it's once again the prophet Elijah, right? He does some ridiculous works. One of my favorite stories, and I was reading it recently, and I'm like, that's so wild. But he's had enough, right? Jezebel and Ahab, I think, is the king at the time, and he's like, you know what? No, tell all the prophets of Baal to come through, come on through. We or Baal, come on through. Where he's like, so they make these two altars, right? And he's like, hey, call down to your God to burn this altar. And whoever's God does it, that'll be the one true God. They're like, cool, great. Elijah got jokes, guys. He is telling them, like, they're praying and trying to call down fire from their God, from Baal, and he just sitting and it's been hours. It's been like a whole day, and he got jokes. He's like, hey, maybe he asleep. Maybe he tired, maybe he busy with someone else. He got jokes. Like, the amount of confidence this man has is absurd, right? And then he's like, all right, y'all good? Y'all done? Y'all exhausted? Okay, give me a second. Hey, go ahead and dig a trench around mine real quick. All right. And then 4 times he soaked the altar, the wood, the sacrifice, burnt offering off. It soaked it in water. Like, the trench is overflowing with water. And then he like, hey, God, do that thing. Bow. Joan lights up. When I say the fire was so hot, it licked up the sacrifice, the wood, the stone altar, charred, all of it gone. And then after that, this man went into straight Super Saiyan mode. He said, all right, yup. For y'all don't know, that's the anime reference. Yep. Hey, go ahead and kill those 450 prophets of Baal. Kill them all. I was trying to figure out who he talking to. He not like with a posse. He don't got like some party of 150 people, something. But I guess the people decided, and he killed. So he killed them all, right? It's like the very next day, I think, if I'm not mistaken. But it's like you read that, and it's the very next like 5 verses. Jezebel finds out, or not the next verses, because he tells the king to do some other thing. Well, that's another thing. He tells the king, hey, so they've been in a famine. He's like, hey, water, it's about to rain too. So go ahead, head home. Like, this man is talking to kings and however he want. He like, I'm in charge. I got this. So he tell him to go home. Then he's like telling his servant, hey, yeah, go ahead. This is what I need you to go look. Is there a cloud? Is there a cloud? Oh, as small as my fist. Great. This man outruns the chariot of the king on foot. All right. So he doing all these crazy things, right? And I love that story. And I'm like, man, that man was crazy. His faith was crazy. He was really working. He was out there grinding. It sounded like he never went and got some rest, though, because right after that, Jezebel says, hey, I'm going to kill him. And he loses his mind. A queen, not a king, not even a king. A queen tells him, I'm going to kill him. And he goes into straight, God, oh, it's me. God, just take my life. I'm the only one left. And this is what God does. Okay. Yep. Go ahead. Take a nap. Wakes him up from the nap. Gives him a snack. All right. Go ahead. Take another nap. Wakes him up from that. Eat some food again. You good? You good? Okay. That's what I need you to do. And there's so many ways to articulate that story in different ways. So I'm sure I'll bring it up again later. But for this idea of resting, it really made me think, like, this man was doing great things. So it wasn't like he was failing or the work he was doing was sloppy. No, he was doing it with confidence, and still like got to the point where fear, and I'm worn. I honestly think he was worn out. He had done tons of stuff before that too. I think he was worn out and frustrated. And God's like, go ahead and take a nap, get some rest, eat, go ahead and get some more rest, eat. And I'm like, what would a nap do for some of us? What would a good nap, a scheduled nap, sometimes unscheduled nap, do for us? Like, I am if anyone want to sponsor me, I will be your advocate. I'm telling you, I think we should have a 30-minute nap, like lunch for 30 minutes or an hour if you need that. Give us an hour and a half lunch break, right? Let us split it up however you need, but like at least 30 minutes of that needs to be a nap. or just a downtime to do nothing. Watch a show, read a book, whatever calms you down. Because you know how much more productive I would be? I know for a fact every time I take a nap, I get up like, let's go. We about to get some more stuff done. And it's because we need that rejuvenation. Like we need to rebuild. We need that downtime. Quite like physically, like scientifically, our brains aren't meant to run at the level we try to make them run at all day. Like it's kind of unhealthy. And so, not saying our brains can't work all day, but just the level we try to push them to, and no, we're going to do this, and then we end up not doing things well, or there's side effects where I just don't want to do anything anymore. And so, just this understanding of resting, like how do you pick? Is it time to grind? Is it time to rest? And I don't have the answer off the top of my head, but it leads me to believe the way to pick that is, what is your body saying? Now, if your body's always saying sleeping, that's not the answer. But like legit, yesterday I had plans. I was like, I'm gonna meal prep. I'm gonna run some of these errands. Gonna figure out the taxes and stuff. I'm gonna get all these things done, right? And I got like half of it done, and then around like 1, I just was like tired. I'm like, dang, I'm really exhausted. Now I could have stayed up. I could have. Excuse me. I could have stayed up and probably still got some stuff done. And that wouldn't have been a problem. Sometimes that's just, you're in that place. You're like, I might want to stay up and get it done. I can rest after. But I literally decided, like I was about to do taxes. I pulled everything out, and then I looked and I said, no, I'm going to go take a nap. And I went and took a nap, woke up and got other stuff done. And it wasn't that wasn't like an aha moment from like, oh, this is the master plan. But it just was, no, my body really needed a rest. And I don't have to feel bad just because there's something to do. There'll always be something to do. If you don't do anything with your life and you have a trash can, you always going to need to take that trash out eventually, right? You going to have a rhythm where you got to take that trash out. There's always going to be something to do. But just because there's something to do doesn't mean we have like, we're in a time where you have to make it a priority, and you have to schedule where is your rest in your schedule. Like pull out your calendar. If it just looks like a bunch of different colors and it's organized and you got this going on, and then this meeting, and then I'm going here, and then I'm doing this, and then we're talking here, and then we got to feed the kids at this time, then I got to pick them up at this time, and then I'm going to go to Pilates with this girlfriend, and then I'm going to hang out with this person. But there's like, as all you got that organized, you need to organize rest in there. Like you need to put that in there. Like okay, so during my days, this when I'm most busy, or these are days that I really need this. Okay, I can squeeze in 30-minute nap. I can squeeze in a 20-minute zone out. Like sometimes my rest look like this. That's it. 'Cause I'm like, I'm not tired, but I gotta shut everything down for a second. So whatever that may look like for you, but yeah, I know. I'd be a little bit all over the place in these, but just be having different thoughts. Definitely hoping to have more guests on here too, shortly, hopefully in the next episode or two, I believe. But anywho, yeah, let me know your thoughts. Like how do you feel about this idea? Or what I'm understanding is a season of this or that. Like, do you agree? Do you feel differently? Do you think you're in a different season where you have put in that work, or it's just now you're at that place where it is a this and that season? And what did that look like for you? Because I'm not currently in that season. So what does that actually entail or look like for you? But yeah, I think that's it for today. I hope y'all have a bomb week. I hope you get loved on. I hope someone, if no one has told you recently, and when I say recently, this week, hopefully this day, you're beautiful and you're loved and you matter. Like you really, really matter. So enjoy your day, and I guess I'll catch you next time. Peace.